Welcome to another episode of Five Lemons Laughing. All of the Lemonettes are here today. I'm Amanda, and I'm here with Penny, Melissa, Morgan, and Drusilla. And we wanted to pause today. Like, what is going on in this world? Because let's be honest, it feels a little loud right now. There is bad news on repeat. Drama is coming from every direction. And there's a constant pull to be on all the time. And it's exhausting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why protecting our peace, our spirit, isn't just a nice idea. It's essential. Because whether we realize it or not, we're always connected to something. The question is, what are we choosing to connect to? Is it fear, urgency, and overfunctioning? Or is it love, presence, and truth? Unplugging from the noise isn't really about checking out. It's about choosing love. We're talking about real love with a capital L, the kind that keeps you sane, supports your relationships, and makes space for something better. So today we're talking about sacred connection, safe boundaries. How to stay rooted in yourself while staying open to the real meaningful connections. Because let's be honest, being plugged in to everything all the time doesn't make us more loving. It actually makes us overwhelmed. It dulls our intuition. It floods our nervous system. So what does it look like to build soulful relationships without losing ourselves, to set boundaries that don't push people away, but actually invite more trust, more clarity, and truth? It's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does it mean to unplug, reconnect, and thrive in a noisy world?
That's a good question, Morgan.
That is a good question.
Why don't you tackle it, Penny?
Oh my God. Oh my goodness sakes. Wow. I don't even know. I mean, so for me, wow. What does it mean to unplug, reconnect, and thrive in a noisy world? That is a really good one. For me, well, let's just talk about it a bit. I'm just trying to figure out what to say that can help our listeners. I have to meter watching the news. I have to meter reading the news. Because Amanda, you were saying it well, it just like sinks in and then it takes over our nervous system and everything. The whole day just changes based on what some person is doing in the world. And I realized that in order for me to stay connected to my higher power, connected to love, connected to all of that, I really can't watch a lot of it because it takes me right out of the game. And so meaning unplugging and connecting to my higher self, and the way I thrive in this noisy world is I go to rallies, I do things like that, but I'm not God, this could come back to bite me, but I'm not obsessed about it. It's not taking.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Like if something really horrible happens in the world and then here I am, I'm not obsessed about what's going on in the world. I'm just thinking, I just don't want to be standing on the sidelines. If something really big is happening, I want to be impacting change as best I can. And I recognize that it begins with me. And so the way that I take care of myself is probably the most important thing right now. Does that make sense?
It really does, Penny. And I'm so glad that you said it like that, right? Right. Because you don't want to be, you don't want it to come back and bite you, right? To
like I didn't do my part. That's, I guess. Yeah.
Because that boils down to what is your part? Like what really is our part? Because, nobody wants to think that they're putting their head in the sand and not, affecting change on the, on the grand sense of things, but that really goes to the core philosophy of what we're talking about, right? That goes to the heart of the matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that Penny and I are maybe a little bit opposite on this subject, because it's like, how much is enough, and how do you measure that? And how do you, it's impossible. There's no way for any one person to be aware of all of the things going on in the world. So when is it enough? And how would one know when it's enough? So I would say that, none of it is necessarily our business. That's not our work. That's not our work. If it is in our awareness, then it's ours to forgive and it's ours to heal. And we can determine how much of that we'd like to let into our awareness or not. I mean, it's, I don't know. I don't think there's any getting it wrong. I don't. I think the main point really is about how much love can you extend in the world. But there is a lot of pressure to be in the know about what's going on. And, but that pressure is coming from the world. I mean, it's not the truth. So I don't know.
And sometimes it's self-imposed pressure too, right? Yeah.
I think it's all tricky because we're not supposed to be a body, according to A Course in Miracles.
Yeah.
This is all an illusion, according to A Course in Miracles. So how do you live in the world, not get consumed by it, keep your peace, keep life meaningful and purposeful? That just is like being pulled in two directions at all times. I personally think I have to make choices like every day. I have to wake up every day and say, I choose to maybe, do the news for like 5 minutes, or like I don't watch reality TV because I don't like that drama, and I don't like that drama spilling out into my life. And I don't want to think about it. I don't want to participate or encourage all that drama, because for me, it's drama. Maybe not for other people. I have someone in my life who's been getting very angry about the Palestinian issue. And he's been saying, well, why aren't you angry? Why aren't we talking about it all the time? And for me, I'm upset by it, but I'm really committed not to fight hate with hate. And so I'm really committed to bringing love to the situation, because I'm not in Palestine. I'm not feeding the people. I'm not protesting, but what I can do is bring love instead of just more hate and more, being angry. So that's how I kind of have to have boundaries with life, I guess. So, and live within boundaries that feel comfortable for me, because my number one goal is to keep my peace.
Yeah.
And so, and sometimes I don't. I mean, I'm far from perfect with it, but I really have boundaries with what I let come in.
Yes.
I love that, Melissa.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sacred boundaries.
Yeah. Although I do like murder TV too. Amanda was talking about that earlier.
Favorite genre.
And it's not Rockford and Sons. It's like
Rockford Files. Thank you very much.
Rockford and Sons. Oh my God, what was I thinking? Yeah,
that's funny.
Rockford Files.
Rockford Files. It's murder.
Yeah, file.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perry Mason.
Columbo's going to be next.
Yeah, I personally have like completely cut out all news from my life. It's all propaganda anyway. I mean, unless you really feel like taking the time to dig and find independent media sources, which is virtually impossible. I don't I don't see the value in it, and trust that if there's something for me to know, or if there's something for me to do, it'll be brought into my awareness and I will know. I mean, like,
Totally.
if your neighbors are, arrested by ICE and their children need looking after, you're going to go look after their children. You know what I mean? If a tree falls on your neighbor's house, you're going to go help your neighbors. If the car in front of you is involved in a major accident, you're going to pull over and you're going to help the car in front of you. Like, that's how I see it. Like, we were not meant to know about every pocket of catastrophe in all areas of the world at all time. This barrage of negative information is literally just to suck us down into the drama, when our mission is to rise above the battlefield and to hold the truth at all times. And you simply cannot do that when you're pouring this into you all the time. So that's my take on it.
Hey, Morgan, was it you that was saying during one episode about like a guy in a hut, or a woman in a hut out in the jungle who has no idea about this stuff? Her life hasn't changed because all of this stuff is happening, but we choose to engage in it and then let it all change our lives.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And that guy out in the hut, if, somebody walks by and gets bit by a snake, he's going to go help the person.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we have our work to do, and it is going to be revealed to us. We don't need to go be making more work for ourselves that ultimately spreads us way too thin, dilutes our energy and our level of like helpfulness. Like, I don't know.
I love that. And I think part of that, first of all, I have two things. TV is made for ratings. TV is made to suck you in and keep you watching TV. And I love what you said, Morgan. Like, and it's all bias at this point. There is no new news organization that doesn't lean one way or another, or at least I haven't found it. So I did want to say that. So that's hard to tap in. And I forgot my other point. So
it'll come back.
And the other point was more profound, but I'm just going to let it go.
I'm going to keep that one to myself because so good.
Because this is Five Lemons Laughing after all. We have to laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big, for me, it's a big, I don't know if it's a question, sometimes I just don't know what is the right thing to do. And that's where I just need to continue to tap into my higher power, listen to the guidance that I'm getting, the intuitive hits, and take action on them. Because I think I've done enough playing around with that to make sure to know when it's my intuition or when it's my ego telling me what to do. And so I think that's the best thing for me, is just to keep connected. And if I'm getting that hit, go do this, go do it. Like, yeah.
And do you think you can just make a decision, and then really the real thing is not to judge yourself about it? Like, no matter what it is, it's that whole follow-up blaming, shaming ourselves that gets in the way. And for me, that like consumes me even more, gets me out of my peace even more. And just follow your heart and then be okay with it.
Yeah, I like that, Melissa. That's great. Yeah. Yeah. And remember, I also do a lot of studying in the Gita, and I'm studying it actually with one of my mentors. And I mean, Arjuna goes into battle and he's fighting his cousins and his uncles and everybody. I mean, they're in a huge family fight. And so he's speaking to Krishna to help him to, get into the battle and fight the good battle. And it's really it's everything that A Course in Miracles. It's so amazing that all of the teachings out there in the world are basically saying the same thing. Love is the answer. Love will set us free. The truth will set us free. And so, the recent lessons in A Course in Miracles is basically we're fighting ourselves.
Yes.
When we attack others, when we condemn others, when we make judgments, we're really just hurting ourselves more than anything. And so I think that's probably like you're saying, Morgan, is that why go out and do these battles when, well, I shouldn't say why, but yeah, just really pay attention, I guess, to what you're being led to do. I don't know. I'm kind of processing all this. What do you think, Drusilla? I haven't heard from you lately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm enjoying the discussion. You all hit some very profound points. It's a very difficult discussion, I think, to kind of figure out what is the appropriate answer for your own individual self. And I think that's the key, because for someone that has a role in the society on a big platform, it would be very difficult to say to them, well, you can't worry about what's going on in the world, because that might be a part of their responsibility to know what's going on in the world and speak on it. So I feel like it's going to be different for every person. You know, as I spoke on, I think the last podcast we did, I feel like I have been in a period of retraction instead of expansion. But at one point, I felt like my role and my purpose was to have a bigger influence, not to fight anything, but to promote love and to promote, a belief in self and self-view, and ownership and accountability. And I still feel that that is my purpose. Now, I love the question that Melissa posed about how do you, I'm not saying it verbatim because that was a few minutes ago, but like, how do you, in essence, live fully and stay connected and grounded in this human experience? And I do think that that is the biggest challenge. And the more I go down this path, the more I see that it really doesn't take the effort that I thought it took. It really just means show up with love and forgiveness in every circumstance, not to change how I'm living my life necessarily, but to change my perspective of things that I encounter in my life and people that I come in contact with in my life. That it's all there to help me to expand and to grow. I can imagine that if I were on a world stage, imagine how big those lessons are or would be versus me being in a cave and not having to do, to interact with anyone. So those lessons are totally different. And I just feel like for every individual person, they may go through a period of expansion or contracting. And that just means that maybe they're spiraling up and some steps are coming back, but they will continue to grow if that's their preference and that's their purpose. So that's kind of what I thought about, which while you all gave me the opportunity to be thinking, that's different, right? So yeah.
I love that, Drusilla. Well, I was going to say something similar, Penny, just because I see you kind of grappling, I don't know if that's the right word, with kind of how to be in the world and aware of what's going on, an active participant in what's going on, and compassionate is what I hear. And still do your inner work and stay anchored in love. And like, I feel strongly that my method works for me, and it can work for anyone, but I'm not saying like that has to be everyone's approach. I mean, we come into this physical experience with millions of different personalities and astrologies and human designs and Enneagram types and this, that, and the other. And that's our programming for how we best operate in this world. And, maybe you are built for more engagement, more action. Maybe you are meant to be like, an active participant in affecting change. So, I mean, you don't have to take what I'm saying like, oh, I must be doing something wrong because I'm not doing it the way, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't think there's a right or wrong here, but I do think my approach works, but I'm not saying like, if you don't do it my way, you're doing it wrong. But I think it's important And I think Drusilla touched on this too. I'm going to say it because I think it's worth repeating. The main thing is to put our energy on what we are for, not what we are against. And that is where a lot of the world gets it
Nice.
wrong. If we're going to go into
I
doing
like that, Morgan.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
yeah. So I just wanted to add those couple of little
Yep.
extra thoughts.
Yeah. Drusilla, I'm so glad that you brought up that we're all on our own path, and everybody's path is going to look a little different. And Morgan, you just backed it up, expanding it. I remembered what I was going to.
Yay.
Yay. Yes. And it actually is better following this conversation than, this thread of thought, because how do you know what your path is? Right?
Mhm.
If you're tapped into the noise, if you're tapped into the inputs of what the TV, what your screens are telling you, then chances are you're not tapped into your internal voice. You're not tapped into what your path actually is, what your like Morgan said, what your human design is, what your mission is. So that's why I think that, like, getting rid of screen time, or at least limiting it, helps us take our head out of the sand, right? Because if we get bombarded with all these outside opinions, if we are only tapped into what external things are happening, what is being fed to us, that is a form of your head being in the sand.
Yes, it is, Amanda.
And another thing I wanted to say too, just to bounce off of what you were just saying, Amanda, is that if we are going to watch the news or read the news or any of that, what I've learned on my journey is it's really important to make sure that I am totally partnered up with my higher self. I've done my spiritual work before I flip on the TV, before I open the newspaper or click on a link about something that's going on in the world, and make sure that I'm that I've taken care of myself, and that I am not in my ego part of my mind, but I'm in my higher Holy Spirit self part of my mind as I look at it, because then I think it helps me to discern better, so that's what you reminded me, Amanda, is that's one of the things I can do, is just do my spiritual work first, prayer, meditation, whatever it is for whoever's listening, do that first. And then if you must, look at the news or whatever it is that you're going to do.
Yeah.
Bethany, I agree 100%. I will say nowadays I can get in 30 minutes of news and it not really impact me. It's just a good to know thing. And that's taken a long time for me to get there. And how about I can do 2 minutes of social media and I'm ready to throw my phone across the room? Like, this shit is crazy. Why do people even go there? you know? So I haven't done as much work there. I don't feel like I need to. I just stay off of social media pretty much. So, so again, it's everybody has to kind of think about what is it that's filling you up with, negativity or feelings. And maybe sometimes it's things that need to be in your awareness about your own judgment thoughts or thoughts about things in the world. How you perceive sexism, racism, all these things. Maybe there are some things that that we might be able to take away from those feelings of negativity. But at the end of the day, it's still about maintaining your peace and knowing how to do that, like Melissa said earlier.
Yeah.
It reminds me too. Thank you, Drusilla. And I'm reminded about, Penny, what you were talking about, the different spiritual concepts and religions. And I was thinking about the 12 steps, which is the first step is that your life is unmanageable, and that we admit we're powerless. So like we admit we're powerless over alcohol or sex or whatever it is. But I think at some point when we're getting so consumed by the news and life as we think we see it, it's an unmanageable situation. And then we are all doing all this future stuff. What if this happens? What if that happens? But the second step came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. So that's what we're all talking about. That's what partnering up is. That's what, like, putting your feet on the ground, saying some prayers, like centering yourself before launching into all the news, or if you choose to do that. And then I think it also goes into the third step, which is made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. So also knowing that not everything's so sucky. Like, you can get really fully consumed by that, or you can know that there is a power greater than ourselves that is orchestrating something pretty amazing if we choose to believe that. So I like the partnering up. I think we hear that over and over. I think that's the answer for me to when my life becomes unmanageable.
Yeah.
It reminds me, Melissa, of this saying that I've heard a long time ago, like, where you say, "Good God, it's going to be a great day," or "Good God, it's going to be a great day." It's all in how you decide to interpret it, right? It's
Yeah.
like it can be either a good or a negative. It's really up to us, right? On how we interpret everything, all the meaning we make. Because I am a meaning maker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we
And
could
I
choose
can,
to do it alone, or we could choose to
mhm,
partner up. We could
yeah.
choose to
Yeah.
struggle through it and, oh God, hope that works itself out in the news or whatever.
Mhm.
Or we could say, okay, higher power, you're in charge here.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do. And I don't know how to be. And I just need some direction. Whatever it is.
And reach out to communities that you're part of too,
Yes.
right? Community is really important. One of my friends listened to a podcast a few episodes ago, and she thought, "What? Are we supposed to become monks and not ever go out and be in the world?" And no, that's not what this is all about. I mean, being connected to a community is really important, especially during times
Yeah.
when the world seems like it's falling apart.
Great point.
Yeah.
And there's communities of love out there.
Mhm.
There's church communities. There's communities that aren't making other people wrong or bad or different or separate. There's lots of different organizations out there that we can join and for community and support. You're totally right.
Maybe we
Well,
have to go back to the 70s and have a summer of love, a fall of love.
See,
Perfect.
but
You know?
here's the thing. It is happening right now. But if you were to tune on to your screens, unless you're really selective, you don't know it. And for me, that's the
Mhm.
point. It's like, which reality do
Mm,
I want to be tuned into? Which reality do I want
totally.
to enhance and to lift up? If you're
right.
only
Totally.
getting one view, you only see one view.
Mhm.
And Drusilla, when Penny was talking, it reminded me of something that you were saying about I think it was not during this conversation, but I would love for you to talk about it, is being in the world or of the world. It was about I
In the
remember,
world, but not of the world.
but something specific. Drusilla, you just said it, not even it wasn't on this one. It was when we were talking a bit earlier. You realize that, do you know what I'm talking about? Could you go over that? Because I think that's really important. You have to unmute to do it. You
You're
have to.
muted, Drusilla.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what you're speaking of, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is the thought of truly living your life
Yeah.
as you normally did before you became a spiritual student or started on this awakening journey. It's easy to then think that the best you can do is to sit around in a state of awareness.
Mhm.
When truly the best you can do is to go out in the world and live your life and express love through awareness. That's the real purpose of our lives, right? Because, the love between two people is beyond measure. I think is how the Course and how the Bible describes it. It's like a wave, of power just through connection. So that's the word, connection. So there's something powerful in connection. And if we decide that we're going to just stay, and I felt this even when I first started studying the Course, that the best thing I could do was to stay in my house, because if I go out here and people are going to, push my buttons and I'm going to get pissed off and then it'll take me out of character. Well, I wasn't truly that if that's all it took to bring me out of character. Right. And the more I just come on this journey, I'm realizing that no, I need to face everything I could possibly face and overcome it. And that's how I purify my heart. That's how I purify my soul, is to overcome and forgive continuously. So to live my life with intention, not to fear and to walk away or hide or retreat from anything, but to walk into it boldly and to know that I can, whatever I face, I can overcome it and I can forgive and I can move forward.
Come back to
And
love.
I think that is the intention.
Yes. And I think it's worth mentioning that it's okay if you need to go into a phase of hibernation when you first start on your spiritual path. I think a lot of us need that in the beginning.
Or a daily, right?
Yes.
Yes, daily.
Hibernation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I think it's called meditation, right?
Yeah.
That could be hibernation.
Yes, absolutely.
Vacation.
Drusilla.
Yeah, thank you for stating that again, because that's so important too. It's just a perspective. It's a perspective on how to be present in the world, know what is yours to do, what's not yours to do, and to bring love, to actually tap into the reality that is already present.
Yeah. Yeah. Not hiding it out. But what can happen, and this came up, and Amanda and I facilitated some group sessions in Jennifer Hadley's In My Self-Sabotage recently. And one thing that some participants brought up is, going out into the day in the morning and feeling so high and spiritually connected. And then just the meter kind of runs down as the day goes on. And then they hit a wall and it's gone. And I think that's not an uncommon experience. So, and things like absorbing bad news can really deplete that meter fast too. So what are some ways that when you start to get lost in the bad news or in the shitstorm that seems to be facing you at work or at wherever you are, what are some ways that you can come back to yourself, back to love, back to your intention to be helpful and be a powerful presence of love instead of getting swept up in the drama and the chaos, and the noise, and the negativity?
A regular spiritual practice is always helpful, just to have that grounding, I think. And then for me, I feel like when I feel my body start to react, it helps me tune in, like shallow breathing, racing heart, but mostly probably like anxiety and like nausea or stomach. That's my like alarm that I'm off track for myself. Like my piece is.
So what do you do when your alarm goes?
I stop what I'm doing. But it's been so much practice to do that. I mean, it's really, and I'm still working at it, but I'm better at it because I can stop stuff that's coming out of my mouth. Sometimes I can stop the fearful thoughts. I do a ton of meditating, and sometimes I'll just stop and meditate or try to open my heart, quiet my breath, all that kind of stuff. That's my biggest alarm for me.
Sounds like you're taking advantage of the pause.
Yes.
You're pausing.
Totally. That's it.
Yeah. In a program that I coach called Positive Intelligence, it's recommended that people take every 2 hours pause and really do something to get yourself back in your body. Because I mean, like you were saying, Morgan, these participants were saying like, oh my God, we just watched the meter go down, all the whatever we've done to fill ourselves up gets ticked away, right? I mean, with whatever situation we're faced with, if we don't stop and fill ourselves back up again, or take a break and you know, pay attention to your toes for a moment versus whatever was going on, wiggling your toes or sounds that you hear that are far away or close by you, because more than likely, what I've experienced is that I've lost connection to my body, and I've lost grounding. And so, yeah. And race car drivers have to they have to stop and change their tires and fuel up. And if they don't, they crash. And
Love
so,
that analogy, Penny.
yeah, right at the height of the race, when they are, they are in first place, and oh shit, I got to change my tires. I'm being called to the pit. And if they don't, they lose the race. And so if we can just remember that, to pause and refuel ourselves is okay. It's I mean, I'm part of it, man. I can go for like 4 hours, especially when I'm really in a project. And then it's like, oh my God, it's almost like you crash afterwards, because it's like you've been holding it so long. So fueling yourself. Yeah. So that's what I do too, is pause as best I can. I forget. Yeah. I've got a really good forgetter.
Keeping it real, Penny. I love
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mine is laughter. I think I was brought here just to see the humor in life, because I'm like, fuck, I'm in it again. And like, and then that reminds me to laugh. Even if I'm in it, like whatever is happening, some fight with my husband or whatever it is. Like once I realize it, it's like taking one step back. I can just see the absurdity and the humor and recognize the old thought pattern. So it really helps me just to laugh. It's like a pressure cooker letting off the steam.
That's a good one.
I love that.
That's mine.
For me, I think my biggest weapon is the awareness, which is equivalent to what all of you are saying, right? It takes a certain level of awareness to even know that you're in it, right? And sometimes the awareness is followed by laughter. Sometimes it's followed by remembering to go to my loving heart, right? And sometimes it's about remembering to forgive. And I think building that muscle that's what the course is all about. It's building the muscle of awareness so that you're always in a state of awareness, not walking around like a zombie, but always, the forethought of your mind is, yes, I'm experiencing this, but I am still as fully as perfect as can be. So that works for me. Not that I still don't experience moments where I am in a tizzy and I am pissed off, just like everybody else. But I don't harp on it. I know how to keep moving and to forgive myself and to forgive that experience. And, it's done. It doesn't even exist anymore. I think that is for me, the next level of beyond the forgiveness. There's nothing to forgive. And that is the ultimate goal for me, is to know that there was nothing to forgive in the first place. Does that make sense? I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very deep, Drusilla.
That's why I wasn't talking. Like, wow. Way to drop a truth bomb, Drusilla.
Yeah. I love it. It's so fun and fascinating to see the differences in all of us, and to hear it all come together in these episodes. It's really cool. I don't know what other word to use right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear the post-its. I saw you writing a couple times.
Yeah, there's some really good stuff. So let's do Penny's Post-its.
Yeah.
So the very first one, Morgan said, there's no way we can get it wrong. So really, if we can just remember that there's nothing wrong, what's going on, there's nothing bad happening. And I love it when I think Melissa said, every day I get to choose my day.
Yay.
Like every day it's a choice.
Mhm.
Everything is a choice. And Morgan said, put my energy on what I am for versus what I'm against.
Mhm.
Yes.
That was really powerful, Morgan, when you said
Mhm.
that. And then, our number one goal is to keep my peace, right? That's our goal. And then the final one that I wrote is that there is power in connection.
Mhm.
And so to stay connected to whatever fills us up is really important. And yeah, to our spiritual practices, to our church, to our meditation, whatever it is, our communities that we're part of. Yeah. Wow. What an episode.
Yeah. Good one.
I just
Any
want to
final thoughts? Yeah.
Yes, I do. I was thinking about Rainbow. I can't remember her name, the one who like saved who sat up in the tree for months to prevent it from being cut down by the timber company. And I was thinking about Greta Thunberg and all she's done for climate activism and things like that. Like, so I just want to go back to about what you're for, not what you're against, and you will be inspired to divine right action according to, what comes into your awareness and what you're passionate about. So it may not look like inaction, like just because you are not consuming the news all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
and
you may be inspired to take big action.
Exactly.
Yes.
I wanted to reiterate the what you all said about partnering up before doing something like consuming the news, because we know like attracts like, and if the news has a negative spin, then negativity is going to attract more negativity. So, zip yourself up and call in that divine love before doing it, because it's like if you're passing an accident on the street and you're sending them pity and sadness, that's not a helpful energetic. If you're blessing them and sending them love and knowing their wholeness, that is helpful. And so same thing applies for all the negative news that is out there. You know what I mean? So if you gird yourself with love, with the armor of God before watching the news, then you can bless each situation as you see it come across your screen and be a powerful conduit for good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Bravo.
yeah.
So true. Well, with that, I think that's a wrap of this episode from Five Lemons Laughing. In our world that never stops, remember, protecting your peace is sacred. Give yourself permission to unplug and slow down for what truly matters with courage, clarity, and joy. And as you head back into the world after sitting here and listening to our beautiful episode, stay rooted, keep your heart open, and guard what fuels you. This episode, if this episode really resonated with you, the best way to help us is to like, share, subscribe to our episode. And if you know someone who's craving high vibe, heart-centered content, please pass it along. We really appreciate that. And until next time, just know that however you decide to be with what's going on in the world, it's your choice. And you get to put your energy where you want to. And peace, if peace is your first ultimate choice, choose peace, your inner peace. Yeah. So remember that your transformation is our greatest joy, and we can't wait to connect with you again soon. And we just want you to have a blessed and beautiful rest of your week. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.